This is Alex, and welcome to Barely Braided, where we're taking a deep, deep dive into foster care, adoption, and all things parenting, even the sticky stuff.
INDEPENDENT. Do you know what that means?
I don't know a clue what you're doing. I don't know what that means.
That's Webby.
Yeah, I don't know who Webby is.
He was I guess you'd call him a rapper. I think that was when I lived in California, so that would have been in like the late 2000s, early 2010.
Did he have like a featuring artist on that song?
I don't know. I just remember working in a bar on the weekends and hearing that all the time.
I recognize that song, but I don't recognize the name Webby at all.
Weebie.
Webby. Ribbit. So we haven't even done a welcome yet. Welcome to episode 12.
Hi.
This is episode 12 in the Barely Braided Adoption and Foster Care podcast. I'm here with my lovely, beautiful, bearded co-host, Joel Ellis.
I graduated.
You graduated what?
Well, you used to just call me the guy that sat in the closet with you, or
and you
special guest. I was a special guest a few times.
And you upped to co-host?
Yeah, I don't know if that's a lot to live up to. I don't know if I can do that.
Especially because you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
But we have had quite a few people messaging me and reaching out to me saying that they really enjoy listening to you.
Thanks, everybody.
I think you're here to stay. Also, we have to go ahead and talk about the really cute Instagram story I just posted on Barely Braided Podcast. I know you hated it, but I thought it made you look so cute. So, for those of you who catch this podcast after my story ends, I was peeing upstairs while Joel was like feeding the babies and hanging out, making supper downstairs. And all of a sudden I hear this belting music and Joel singing along.
I had never heard, I don't like the Dixie Chicks. I like their music. I don't like what they stand for.
Right. What song were you singing?
Or had in the past. It was Cowboy Take Me Away.
Was it the Dixie Chicks version that you were listening to, though?
No, it was Carly Pierce.
Okay. So I hear Joel's beautiful voice belting this song as I'm trying to pee. And Joel has a really nice singing voice. He really does. It's something I've always been jealous of. But he's like belting it. And so I'm like taking an Instagram story, recording, and then all of a sudden I hear, Alexa, play that song again. And I just died laughing. But it was really cute. I went downstairs and I videoed him. He was singing to the kids and they were just smiling. And we like to have little dance parties at dinner time sometimes, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Brooks likes to dance to Luke Combs, Sure If You Want To.
He's all about Luke Combs.
Yeah.
He really is.
We all are.
Yeah, we are. And the other new thing that Brooks is learning is he's learning how to high five and he's learning how to wave bye-bye. He's not very good at it yet, but he's getting there. Like he'll do it maybe 1 out of every 6 or 7 times, which is really exciting. I love the fact
he did it like 3 times in a row this morning.
Did he?
Yeah.
I love that we can teach him things.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's like a new thing for us.
Yeah, it's cool to finally be able to interact with him and make him laugh and giggle and just have fun with him.
And right around,
it's hard for me to connect with little tiny people like Ari, where they just sit there and
they're potatoes.
They just look at you and cry. And
but we also made a big development with Ari tonight. She giggled, and when I say giggled, she like laughed her butt off for the very first time.
Yeah, she did.
And it was really cute. She's had like little giggles here and there, and she's pretty smiley most of the time, but she just lost it giggling. It was really, really cute. Joel's trying to play it on his phone. And she was all about it. That was the cutest thing that I've seen all day.
Yeah, it was great.
It was. Also, I have one other announcement before we get into like our real conversation. And that is that this episode is being sponsored by Madam Peacock's Accessory Lounge, which is a brick and mortar retail store, women's clothing and accessories in Deadwood, South Dakota.
And for the men,
there's
a bar inside.
Yeah, not only a bar, but a Schlitz museum.
Yeah, so while Mommy's shopping and getting her fashionista on, Dad can sit at the bar and belly up with Mr. K and watch a ball game or have a beer. And
yeah. Full disclosure, this store is owned by my mom and her husband, and they were kind enough to give us a discount code for our listeners. So the discount code is Barely Braided, and you have to spell it correctly, Barely.
Is it all one word?
All one word, no spaces, Barely Braided, and that will get you 15% off your entire purchase.
Kind of surprised that Tom didn't make you use Schlitz as the code.
That's the website password.
Now people can control what they want to put in there.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the website is www.madampeacocks.com. And
let me see your peacock.
They have all kinds of really nice things on their website. They have very unique clothing, accessories, hats. The style of their store is like Western, motorcycle. It's women's clothing and accessories. They have all kinds of things. There are hundreds of products on the website, and they have really, really cute stuff. So if you'd like 15% off, use promo code Barely Braided at madampeacocks.com.
That's awesome. That's a higher discount than they've ever done before for random stuff like that. It's usually 10.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool.
So it's a big discount.
And free shipping.
And free shipping to the U.S. We also offer paid shipping to Canada for any listeners who may want to place an order outside of the U.S. or Canada. Let me know. This website is so new to their business. They're typically a retail store, like a brick and mortar retail store. And so because the website is so new and online ordering is so new, we weren't sure which countries would generate enough interest to open up shipping. But if that's something that you're interested in and you live in a different country, then send me a message. Let me know.
Cool.
So what do you have on the agenda to talk about today?
I think we need to give people an update on Ari and kind of the emotions that we've had with her.
That's a good idea. And I also want to start this off by saying, for people who maybe haven't listened to our previous episodes, Ari is not her real name. She was born with a different name, and we call her Ari. You know, we like to do that in the podcast, especially to protect her privacy and the privacy and, you know, keep the respect of her biological family. And so while we're referring to her as Ari, that's not her real name.
Can I touch on privacy for just a quick minute?
Yeah.
So I had a business dealing with somebody today, and they really knew a lot about me. And customers said that they did a bunch of research and knew where I lived and all that. And these people were extremely nice, so there was no concern about it, but it made me really think. I thought I had everything private in case we posted pictures of Brooks when he was not adopted yet, and Ari. So if you are a foster parent out there, make sure that you go and look and make sure that you are protecting not only yourself, but the children that are in your home with your social media, just so that there's no issues or anything.
Yeah. For
the child's safety, for your safety, privacy, just double check that. It's always a good reminder to double check that. I double checked. Actually, somebody told me the other day how to eliminate ads from Facebook, and I've been living Facebook ad free for like 3 weeks, and I absolutely love it. But now I guess I'm emanating all of my pictures of the kids and us on Facebook. So just make sure you think about that and check it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it's a good point for anyone, not just foster parents or parents, to just make sure that you're not putting too much out there, because I always was of the mindset that, you know, I don't really have anything that anybody would want to take from me, or, you know, I don't really have a reason to protect my privacy. And the older I get, the more I realize that's not the case. Also, the other interesting thing is that during this like isolation thing, you know, Facebook challenges and very popular posts were coming about. And
tell us your car from.
Yes.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people that were posting every vehicle they've ever had since the time they started driving. And Joel and I both did it. We were like, hey, this looks cool. You know, this looks fun. We're going to do it. And then was it one of your friends that posted like, hey, don't do that, because that's the security question on a lot of websites is, what is the first car you drove?
What's the first car you ever, yeah. So, like, looking back on the one that I filled out, I don't think I did them in order per se, but I mean, based on the years of the cars, you could figure it out pretty quickly.
Well, and the other one I filled out, I think it was like a questionnaire about your mom. Mm-hmm. And the first question is, what's your mom's name, including maiden name? And I remember looking at that and being like, that's a little weird. But after that, I didn't even question it. And I filled it out, and I filled out the entire survey. And then as I'm looking back after the fact, I'm realizing that giving everybody on my friends list my mother's maiden name is not a good idea at all.
Bummer.
Yeah.
It's not Coonroy, I promise.
What?
No, I just made that up.
That's not her maiden name?
No.
It's definitely not.
No.
That sounds like a hick maiden name. Okay, well, let's also talk about Ari's new sleeping arrangements.
Tonight's the first night that she's getting to sleep in a...
It's a pack and play.
A pack and play. So she has been sleeping, again, for those of you who just tuned in, Alex and I don't sleep in the same room right now because of 2 kids under 10 months old and their sleeping schedule, so helps us maximize... Everybody at least gets a good 3-4 hours of sleep a night instead of us both being up. So it stinks not being together and being mommy and daddy, but it works well for us to at least get a little bit of sleep. So when she's in my room, she sleeps in a
Mamaroo.
A Mamaroo, yeah, and usually swings and listen, we have a little bit of the background noise going, and then she sleeps in a bassinet once she comes into our guest bedroom where Alex sleeps. And tonight she is starting in the pack and play. We tried this about a month ago. It
didn't work.
No, it didn't work at all. But she's changed drastically since then. Last night she only woke up. She goes to bed at like 6:30, 6:45, and she woke up at like 11, I think. And then I got up to go for a run at 5:30, and she was just starting to stir then, so I fed her then.
Yeah, you fed her, and then she went back to sleep until probably about 7.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're stoked to... we're cautiously optimistic that one day we'll be able to sleep in the same bed again.
Yeah, so the plan is we move the pack and play into the master bedroom where Joel sleeps. And so I think, and we haven't even really talked about this, but I was thinking the plan was to let her sleep in there until she wakes up or until you wake up or whatever. And then at that point, you can still bring her into the bassinet where I'm sleeping. And hopefully we get to the point where she's just not waking up a lot or she's not waking up at all. And then we can move the pack and play into the nursery where Brooke sleeps. And then eventually what I'd like to do is transition her in the nursery from a pack and play to an actual crib.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping for.
And then hopefully Brooksy will be in a big boy bed.
Oh my gosh. When do you transition a child from a crib into a big boy bed?
I don't know. We still got to drop the
mattress.
Yeah, the mattress down a little bit because he's starting to stand up and that little boy's getting active.
He really is. He's just starting to like pull himself up now and just starting to like barely stand up. We just had to put like a foam ring around our coffee table tonight because he's like hitting his face on everything.
Yeah, he's taken a couple of pretty good divers and
last week
up his face.
Last week I think he had a cut on his cheek, a black eye, and a big old bruise on his forehead at the same time.
So let's talk about Ari and her situation and kind of where we're at with her being in custody and in care. So backtracking, she was born in the first week of December. We took her from the hospital the 17th of December, and she's been with us ever since. Now, over the course of this whole time, parents have been a little bit aloof. They're not necessarily unpredictable, but they're not consistent with what they need to be doing, I guess you would say. But, what was it, about a month and a half ago when her worker said that he was going to try to have the aunt, the father's sister, take her?
Yeah. We had, I can't remember if it was just one of our meetings with her caseworker or if it was a different type of meeting. All the meetings start to run together in my head, but...
CFTM, perm plant, yeah, it's just, they all run together.
Yeah, and he had said that there was an aunt that would like to take custody of her permanently, and his words were the aunt is a viable option. She had passed a background check and she could financially support her, and so this whole time I was kind of planning on Ari going to live with her aunt permanently. And, that's what you sign up for when you get into foster care. And so...
as much as you get attached, yeah.
Yeah, and I will say, honestly, like, knowing that the aunt could pass a background check and, she was stable and all of that, which is what the caseworker was telling us, makes me feel better about her going to live there.
Yeah.
And also knowing ahead of time gives me a chance to emotionally prepare myself. So I appreciate that.
With our last little girl that we had, it was
immediate.
In an instant, on my birthday, and away they went.
Yes, we had no idea that she was even
even an option.
Yes.
So knowing that the aunt is an option, while it is not comforting to us, we know in the back of our head that, there is potentially an option out there.
Mm-hmm. And it makes it easier to emotionally prepare, I think.
Yeah.
So then we had a CFTM, which here in Tennessee stands
Child
for...
Family Team Meeting.
Yes, and that's basically where everybody in the biological family and DCS and the attorneys and the foster parents all come together for a meeting just to basically talk about like the progress, or if a new development has happened in the case, you can talk about that or whatever. But I think he said you can have them as often as quarterly.
You have them as often as monthly.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Well, if there are no new developments, which DCS moves very slowly, so a lot of times there are not new developments. In our case, we probably have them like once every 6 months, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
So anyways, at this most recent CFTM, the GAL...
Guardian ad litem, which, again, for noobs or people that are in different states, the guardian ad litem is an independent attorney that acts... It's her attorney that acts in her best interests.
Yeah, and I actually had this conversation with Ann Austin the other day. I'm trying to remember exactly how it went, but I believe the guardian ad litem acts in the best interest of the child, obviously, but if the child is old enough to make a decision on where they want to go, and the attorneys believe that is not in their best interest, there's a chance that 2 attorneys may be needed for the same child. Anyways, that's way off track. We have a baby. She doesn't know what she wants to do.
Yeah. And I think we have a really good GAL right now. Yes. I personally haven't talked to her, but I know Alex has, and I've witnessed her in some of these meetings that we've had. With our last couple of placements, our GAL was... Non-existent. And... it showed up to court even looking disheveled and just unprofessional and didn't, they're paid by the state and it seems like they don't care oftentimes. Yeah, some of them. But this gal that we have right now, or that Ari has, I think, seems to be really on top of things and really knows what she's doing. And it's really refreshing to know that she's got her in her corner.
Yeah. Well, and without giving away too much, this attorney has dealt with this family for the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. So she knows what to expect with them. She's had a lot of history with them, a lot more history than we've had, and a lot more history than Ari's caseworker has had because he's new to his role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But all that to say, the guardian ad litem and our caseworker's supervisor made it very clear that they would not be recommending...
They don't support the aunt being
an option presented to the judge. So what could happen if they did support the aunt, they would present her to a judge as an option, and the judge would, I guess, make a decision on whether or not Ari would go with the aunt. And I feel like a lot of the time, the judge will agree with DCS and the guardian ad litem. But in this case...
Or she could petition. She's been notified that she can petition the court.
Well, right. That's what I'm saying. In this case, she is not being presented by DCS as an option for Ari to go with. But yes, she has the option to hire an attorney on the side outside of DCS and petition the court for custody, which I guess we don't know if she will or not.
No.
Not a clue.
She's not been involved in any of the meetings or conversations. So we say all this, and we have to say that, again, Ari's caseworker initially said that this aunt was a viable option. And then 3 weeks later, roughly, in this meeting, he says, she might not be an option, and, well, we need to talk to my supervisor and the GAL to see, what their feelings are. And within minutes, the GAL strongly disagreed with that, and our caseworker's boss also disagreed that the aunt would be an option. So we leave that meeting thinking what?
That there's absolutely no way that DCS and the GAL will present this aunt to the court.
Yeah. So here we are thinking, it seems like it's settled that if it has to go up this food chain and before it goes before a judge, and her caseworker's boss is the first one in line in that food chain with the GAL, and they both say, no way, you would think that that's the way it was going to go, right?
Yeah, until a week later.
When we have our monthly, he has to see the child monthly. He has to see Ari monthly, and right now we're doing it through FaceTime. So we're FaceTiming with Ari and her worker, and he casually acts like the aunt is still an option.
Yeah.
It's like, what in the absolute...
I don't know if he was like... I don't know. It's hard to say where he was coming from, if he's still trying to convince his boss to present the aunt as an option. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know this woman. We don't know if she would be good for Ari. We don't know if she is able to parent her. We don't know.
But we don't, and probably won't for a little while. We just kind of got to roll with what we're doing right now and keep living life. And
that's the other thing about foster care and being a foster parent, especially with the state, is everything happens so slowly, and especially right now because the courts are closed. So
yeah, we're doing Zoom meetings, and you're like trying to figure out who's talking, and you don't know who's talking, and it's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. The other interesting thing, kind of related to this, I saw a post on a foster parent Facebook group that said, if you've adopted from foster care, how long did it take you from the time you were placed with the child until the time the adoption was finalized? And I was blown away.
Years.
Yeah, it said like 3 years, 2.5 years. And I'm like, how can there be a system that is so incredibly flawed? Like, I don't care what the goal is, what's best for the child, whether it be going with a biological family member, going with the biological parents, being adopted, whatever. It shouldn't take that long to establish permanency with a child.
It shouldn't take that long to figure out what is in the best interest of a child.
Right.
Right.
What else is on the agenda today?
I don't have an agenda.
It's carefree adult living. I think we should talk about what you're experiencing at work because you're essential during COVID.
What am I experiencing? My life is normal when I leave here in the morning.
Does anybody come into your, I almost said your office, your shop wearing masks and gloves and stuff?
Don't really see anybody wearing gloves, but yeah, masks. Some, not all.
Ooh, I got a joke.
Okay.
How do you catch a unique rabbit?
Jeez. I don't know, Alex. How do you?
Unique up on him.
Ba-dum-bum.
How do you catch a tame rabbit?
Tame way.
You know that joke too well.
It's because you've used it.
It's my favorite joke.
Yeah.
Do you have any good jokes?
Nope.
Not one?
I'm a dad. I don't have jokes.
You are Ted's son. You have jokes. What do you call a fish with no eye? See, you know all the answers to the jokes?
I know your jokes because you're a habitual offender.
What does that mean?
You use the same jokes all of the time.
What do you call a bear with no teeth?
This one I don't know.
A gummy bear.
Oh.
You know, there is a new development that we haven't talked about yet in Ari's case. And that is the parent visits are now through OmniVisions.
Oh, yeah. The private agency here in Tennessee.
Yeah, you can choose to be a foster parent through OmniVisions, but is it OmniVisions or OmniVision?
I think it's singular.
Oh. Well,
I don't think it really matters.
I just call them Omni.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I guess DCS contracts with them to supervise visitations.
Facilitate the visitations. I think just because you always hear the workers talking about how busy they are.
Yes.
I think they try to help them out with these private agencies supervising so that it takes a little bit of the load off of their case.
Well, and it's confusing too because I feel like sometimes visitations are through Omni and other times they're directly through DCS, and I don't know how they decide which is which.
I don't have a clue. The whole system is pretty confusing.
You just never know. You answer the phone when somebody calls and you do what they tell you to do.
Yeah,
so.
It's so hard to figure out. There's no normal.
No.
When it comes to foster care. If it happens twice, it won't happen a third time the same way. So.
Yeah. Well, and so the weird thing about it is because of this whole isolation thing, obviously our parent visits are through like Skype or Google Duo or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm just here to tell you that being on a
virtual
chat with the parents for a visit with a baby, a very young baby, is not easy. Like
a 5-month-old.
Yeah, like I don't really know how to not make it awkward, I guess. Because it's not about me. It's not about me having a conversation with the parents. That's not what it's there for. It's there so they can see her and interact with her.
Yeah.
But the problem is I obviously have to be there holding her and tending to her and feeding her. And so obviously, like, I'm there in the way the whole time. So we're doing our very best, but it's kind of weird. Awkward. Yeah.
Yeah. And the parents we've dealt with they've been kind and nice to us.
They have. They've been nice to us.
There's no negativity there. It's the whole internet thing.
Yeah, it's just awkward.
It is.
Like, I remember the first time when we actually met the parents face to face. This was before the isolation thing. You know, I get worried just because you never know how the parents are going to feel about you. You don't know if they're going to be
mad at you or
they could be on
appreciative
they could be on one end of the spectrum where they're like, wow, thank you so much for taking such good care of my child while I get it together. Or on the other hand, they could be like, you're trying to take my child and I hate you and I'd like to murder you. You just you have no idea. But whenever the biological mother was like passing the baby back to me, she said, oh, I really like your fingernails. And it was then and there that I knew that we could get along. But we haven't talked a whole lot since then. The isolation has made it difficult for pretty much everything as far as foster care goes. So we're just kind of, going day to day, living our lives and trying to survive. It's much easier now that we're getting some sleep.
Yeah. That first month that we had Ari,
it was hard.
Awful.
It was so hard having a 6-month-old and a newborn.
Let me tell you, she's not just a little tiny. I mean, she is little tiny. She's 5 months? Is that right?
Yeah, 5 months old.
She's 5 months old, 5.5.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
And she's still only like 12 pounds.
Yeah, she's a petite girl. But I don't think it's like a thing where she's not growing as she should. I think she's just naturally a small person. Yeah. Both of her biological parents aren't large people. And so I think she's just going to be a petite.
But let's talk about her cry.
Oh, gosh. She has a cry like a grown man.
No.
Yes. She cries like I would imagine you would.
She sounds like a bear.
Yes. Yeah, she has a very interesting cry. It's not like one I've ever heard before from a baby.
And it hurts my voice just doing that, so I can't imagine how hurts her. It's just weird. It's not like any child's cry I've ever heard before.
Yeah, but she's crying less often.
She is. Let's talk about, I don't know, have we talked about the decision we made regarding her formula?
I don't think so, no.
So we've noticed that in the first 4 or 5 months of her life, she was extremely gassy. I mean, I am too, but let's be candid here.
She got it from you. It's like it's contagious.
No, she didn't. But she just really gassy, and like we did some techniques to help relieve some of that gas, and it was just really, really bad. Well, on 3 different occasions, I'm usually the one that takes her to her appointments because I have a midweek day off, and that's when we can get to the pediatrician the easiest. So I take her, and I asked this pediatrician a number of 3 times, hey, do you think we could get her on some different formula? And because she's on WIC, the doctor would not prescribe her a different formula. And the last time we were there was when Alex got to go instead of me. They let her in and not me because they would only let one parent in during this quarantine. And she asked the doctor as well, and she's like, no, we don't like to do, give them a different formula until 6 months. And we just finally had enough, and we took the liberty of switching her formula ourselves. Yeah, and within 48 hours, what happened?
She was a different child.
Yeah.
She was happier. She was not crying. She was starting to sleeping better. Yeah, I mean, it was probably not the best decision to
wouldn't have been probably the smartest. I mean, in terms of what a physician would tell you, it might not have been the best decision that we could have made or that could have been made for her. But not only do I think it was good for her, it was good for us.
Well, yeah.
And that seems selfish. And
most importantly, it was good for her. I mean, you could just tell she was a different baby. She wasn't crying.
Yeah. Her belly wasn't hard.
Yeah, it really drastically changed her mood and her attitude. And the other thing that kind of led me to believe that it was all right is that the doctor did say that you could mix non-NeoSure formula in a different ratio so that it would still give her a higher calorie count per bottle. So I think that helped. Mm-hmm. Still, she's getting a lot of calories, which she needs, obviously, to grow because she was a preemie, but
And I looked at the back of those cans. There's only like a 5 or 10 calorie difference between them.
Oh, really? Because they call it high-calorie formula.
Yeah, I'm not sold that it's that much higher. I think it's a little bit higher, but I don't think it's earth-shattering.
I also wanted to talk about the decision that we made to accept Ari's placement. Do you remember the few days that we were going back and forth with placement and they were, asking if we would take her and we kept saying yes and then they kept ghosting us and blah, 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 but whatever. So we called several people we know who have multiple children and we asked them if they thought it would be more difficult to have an infant and a toddler or 2 infants at one time. What did everybody tell us?
Everybody said that it would be easier to have 2 little kids.
2 infants.
Yeah, 2 infants. Similar to having twins versus having a 2-year-old and a newborn.
I'm going to go ahead and call the BS flag at this point.
I'm with you.
I don't know how it is to raise an infant and a toddler, but I'm just going to go ahead and say I don't think much could be more difficult than this. And maybe we just got difficult kids, or maybe we're just not handling it well.
Like we talked about the other night, though, our first placement, after the first night, she really was a good little girl.
But we didn't realize it at the time because it was the first baby. We had never
been parents before.
Yeah. So our children have gotten progressively more difficult.
Yeah, we started... Yeah, if we look back at it, our first placement was really not too hard, and man, she was a sweetie.
Yeah. And it's just crazy how it gets more and more difficult. But as they get older, I feel like they are getting easier. Like Brooks right now at 11 months old.
He just gets into everything.
He gets into everything, but I also think he's easier to parent than he was at like 4 months or 5 months.
If we could just get him to stop grabbing my beard.
Oh, yeah. He's a grabber. He's a biter. And
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if this is a girl versus boy thing or if this is just a Brooks personality thing, but he's everywhere.
He does. He crawls everywhere. And he crawled like a little hobbit, and it was really, really slow. And somebody made the comment, oh, my child crawled like that for the first year and a half until he learned to walk. And I'm like, it's not too bad. It looks ridiculous, but he's not very fast.
He's getting from point A to point B if he wants to.
And then... literally 24 hours, 48 hours, that kid was all over the place.
Yeah, crawling normally, like you would expect. He's everywhere. Yeah, he's into everything. He's opening drawers, pulling himself up on furniture. Mm-hmm. Like, he is wild. Wild.
You can't even hold him down very well in order to put his sleep sack and his onesie on him when he goes to bed.
No, it's like he's stronger than me. He's a baby.
No, he's not stronger than you.
He can whoop my butt.
He just flails.
Oh, yeah. He's a lot. He's a handful. But again, I think he's easier to parent than he was when he was a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, I feel like handling emotionally difficult situations as they get older, it's easier for me to do that. It's easier for me to handle that than it is to handle physically demanding situations, like, for example, being awake all night or listening to crying and screaming for hours and hours and hours.
That's what gets me.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't handle
screaming.
the screaming very well. I would like to know if anybody has tips on how to help calm Joel's mind. I don't know if it's meditation.
Hey, now let's at least give me credit where credit's due. We did not go to the store prepared the other day, and it was like probably a 15-20 minute drive to Sam's Club, and a quarter of the way back, Ari started absolutely screaming. And Brooks' screaming bothered me. Ari's screaming is on another level. Again, it's like a old man or an older man. And it just absolutely drives me insane. But I made it, 15 minutes of her doing that? We didn't go prepared with a bottle. We took a little 2-ounce bottle because she had just eaten. And
wasn't enough for her.
Nope, wasn't enough. But it was a lesson learned for us that we have to go prepared for everything, because we went to Sam's Club, sans diaper bag. We're like, we'll be gone 20 minutes, and Brooks laid an egg, and Ari ate more than she normally does, and absolutely screamed. So, lesson learned.
Yep, it's just a lesson. Yeah, I was really surprised when we were on the way back in your vehicle. She was screaming and screaming, and I was just being silent because I'm like, oh, she's screaming, and I know Joel's going to get mad. And then we stopped at a stoplight, and you looked over and you said something to me that was like totally off subject, like something like, oh, did you see that guy walking or something? And I was like so surprised that you said something normal, that something normal came out of your mouth amidst this like stressful and chaotic situation. I was very proud of you.
I was actually given a kudos at that point, if I remember correct. You said something that, like, I can't believe you're not upset or something like that.
Yep. We need a meditation, mind calming tips and tricks for Joel. Because honestly, if it's up to me, if I know that the kids are they have a clean diaper, they're well fed, they're comfortable, they're not too hot, they're not too cold, they're not tired, they're just crying because they want to be held or something, and I can't right that second, I'm okay with letting them sit. And just sit there for a second while I'm finishing what I'm doing. Give me 5 minutes and I'll be right over there.
I can't do that.
Joel is not okay with that. He will not, walk away and let them cry for just a second.
Mm-mm.
But that's okay.
I just can't do it.
Everybody has their own thing.
Yeah, it's emotionally draining to me when they do that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think we're probably going to need to go ahead and sign off. It's what time?
8:37.
8:37. Are you drinking a Hotel House bourbon? What's it called?
Quality House.
Quality House. Is that what you're drinking?
Yeah, these people are going to think we're alcoholics. We just sit in a closet and drink and talk on a radio or on a podcast.
It's only like once a month that we do this.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm having a nice Blackstone Merlot. The thing about this wine...
Shut up, Blackstone.
Is that a song?
INDEPENDE.
That's not part of the same song, is it?
Well, no, but I thought maybe we'd just do some intro and just do some bumper music on both ends of the podcast.
We're going to get a copyright strike or something. So I'm drinking this Blackstone Merlot, and the thing about it is I feel like I've been at nicer restaurants, sit-down restaurants, where they offer this wine at $12 a glass.
Yeah, you got it for $8
for the whole bottle. I'm like, how do they upsell wine in a restaurant that much? It's crazy to me. Yeah. But it's good stuff. So we're going to go ahead and sign off. I have 2 quick reminders. The first... Yes. The first is go check out my mom's business website. It's a women's fashion, accessories, all kinds of cool stuff. It's www.madampeacocks.com. The website is brand new. I would really appreciate it if you just checked it out. Take a little browse around. If you like something, feel free to take 15% off by using promo code barely braided, no spaces, just barely braided at checkout.
I'm going to throw this out there too.
What?
For the first 5 people, if you're in Deadwood, South Dakota, and you walk into Madam Peacock's, I'm going to buy you a beer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, at the bar. Tell Mr. K or Lisa or Heather to put it on my personal tab, and I'll take care of your beer. If you come and hang out with us, I will personally buy your first beverage.
And they're on Main Street in Deadwood, South Dakota. So if you find yourself in Deadwood, South Dakota, I don't know, people may be coming for events once they start opening up. Yeah. The Sturgis rally may be coming soon.
June 17th, we'll know.
I thought it was June 15th.
Yeah, you might be right.
June 15th, they will be announcing if Sturgis 80th anniversary is happening this year in August or not. So yeah, if you find yourself in Deadwood, go get you a beer at Madam Peacock's and put it on Joel's tab. That's very nice of you.
I just spent a whole $10 if all 5 people go in there, but...
Yeah, $2 beers. You can't beat that.
Yeah. I do miss rural Midwest sometimes because of that.
I do too. But if you're not in the area and you prefer to do your shopping online, check out their website.
www.madampeacocks.com.
I don't know if they'll hire you to do a radio ad. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to say, and this is kind of the obligatory, if you enjoyed listening to this podcast, if you would like to hear more of us, if you would like to spread the word about foster care and adoption, I would love you forever if you felt kind enough to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and maybe some nice accompanying words with it. The last one that I really remember that stood out, the woman was from, I think, Seattle, and she said, "Hey, I really love your podcast. Also, if you come to Seattle..."
She wanted us to play games.
Yeah, she said, "Come have a game night with us. Okay, thanks, bye."
I'm in.
I'm like, yes, I would love to have a game night. That sounds delightful.
You know, at the end of this podcast, I just want to say, swipe up.
What?
Well, I want to have like 10,000 followers on Instagram. Swipe up.
I would love to have 10,000 followers on Instagram so we could do swipe up. What would you link to?
I don't know.
You might link to Madam Peacock's.
Madam Peacock's, or whenever we get a big sponsor.
Like,
I don't know.
Quality House. All right. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week. I hope your life is wonderful, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.